Boy, it's been a hot minute, huh?
It's been like 5 years. Do you know what we haven't got? A sign. No way. It doesn't say Uzuri Gardens anywhere.
That's how did we not do that?
Like I'm gonna get. I guess it goes here, right?
I would assume, or like over the little Uzuri over the one, and then Gardens over the next.
You're the sign guy. Sort it out, man.
Hey, I got my own park to finish.
This is your own park.
Shut up.
Hello, you. Welcome to Geekism, and welcome back to Uzuri Gardens. It's been a little while since our last episode, Mass Bandit.
Yes, it's been a hot minute, huh?
Yeah, but so thanks for sticking with us. Just a busy few weeks, you know how it is. But we're gonna jump straight back in. And do you know
yeah. Sorry, now you are gonna kill me. Straight back in.
Okay. Let's be honest. There's a bit of a Planko renaissance happening right now.
Yes.
It's incredible. I'm loving it. I'm
Yeah.
absolutely loving it. Just today, at time of recording, I have watched a incredible dark ride from
Jura?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Incredible Eldorado dark ride. I watched an episode of Small Park.
Yes.
And I watched an episode of Jamestown from Mineral. Like three, just
Stevetown.
Stevetown,
yes.
Excuse me, not Jamestown. That's that really HBO show. Stevetown. Like, how incredible is that? Like, all three of those in one day, and now I'm recording Uzuri Gardens with.
Yay! And it's funny because one of the first comments I think I got, and maybe you did too, when we started back in Planko, I know I got at least a couple. Is Uzuri Gardens coming back? And at first I was like, no. But then what was it, a week or so ago? You're like, hey, poke.
Should we have a look at it? So I think actually, like, if we were going in order, this should be you. Like, I think the last episode was me putting a dive coaster in, wasn't it?
No, no, because you did that. But then I went in and I gave the Boulder Creek and I built the coffee shop. Yep. So nope, that was I had the last I had episode 20. That makes sense because I have the evens, you have the odds.
Oh, so we are on track then. Okay, cool.
We are. We're pick up right where we left off. It's only been 5 years. Who cares?
There you go. Well, the reason I was going to mention this is because of this Planko Renaissance. While I've been building in the game, I've been watching a lot of new stuff that I missed at the time. Nerd Chacho and Corvus, all these people that came to the game a little later, and like when I was sort of moving out of it. But also I've gone back and watched some of my old favorite seasons again. You know, like I watched through Carnival Slopes again. I watched through Buffalo Valley from Commander Santa and Jubilee Gardens from him and Rubel. You know, like watched all these back again, and it's so funny to like watch 3 or 4 episodes in the space of an hour or two, and every episode start with, I know it's been a while.
Yes, because I binged this series. I watched my own content before you even told me you were doing this. Because we were just, you're back in the game, I'm back in the game. We've started talking a lot more. And like, let me go back and watch this crazy thing that was Uzuri Gardens. And every episode, I didn't get a lot done in these 2 weeks. I didn't get a lot done in these 2 weeks.
I didn't get a lot done should be like the motto of
That's
Planko
the t-shirt.
YouTubers.
That's the t-shirt for sure.
I went to Uzuri Gardens and I didn't get a lot done. On a t-shirt.
I spent 2 weeks in Uzuri and I didn't get much done. But look at this. Sight for sore eyes. Goodness.
Isn't it just this awesome entrance area, very heavily inspired by Islands of Adventure, Port of Entry. And I say heavily inspired. That's a nice way of saying absolutely ripped off.
Yep, completely. But yours isn't. Mine is. Yours, or is yours as well? Because
both of these are.
Oh, okay. Because I loved how. No wonder our styles blended so well then back in the day.
We just completely stole Universal's style.
Absolutely.
Yeah, both of these like pretty much verbatim. Like the joining bits and the little bits were, but yeah, those were, and I believe this one was as well, right? Like.
Oh yeah, 110% for sure.
I will say this now: we are making no promises, right? Like we're both very focused on our single parks at the moment. Carnival Slopes is starting to get fleshed out, finished up. Pinewood Hill's the same, and that is definitely our focus right now. We need a trash can there, but I just, as much as I love Pinewood. This is something that Mineral mentioned actually on his episode of Steve 10 today. building the generic-y budget-y stuff, it kind of takes it out of you after a little bit, because it's because it's such a limitation.
Yes.
And that was one of the fun things about Uzuri, is that you can just come in here and go a little bit wilder,
And that's kind of why I've thrown it all out the window when coming back to Conifer. Like, the western area is super themed, and then this area I'm working on now, the spooky Feywild area, is just over the top. It is. I think what the creators of, I think it's what Frontier meant for you to do in Planko.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I actually, in one of your videos recently, I saw you use the like one of the big straw roofs, like as just a big straw roof, and I was like, oh my goodness.
I know, who uses the pieces as they're intended. And it's going to get even worse in the next episode. But so I get what you're saying. And I won't lie, watching all these episodes, it was like, this was a really fun project, and there are some really amazing parts to it. So,
and I will say as well is that I feel like we always tried at least to keep things like budget and realism in mind. It was just a much bigger budget, right? Like, it's like we're still trying to think about backstage areas and ways through areas and the ways things work and are put together. It's just there's a lot more you can do if you kind of say, I got Disney money here,
right? And I always felt like, rewatching it felt like while the entrance was Universal, it very quickly became Busch Gardens, which is not a problem. Still more budget than a Pinewood or a Conifer. But so I think we fell into that, especially once Zoo was announced and we became more ride focused. So I agree. We've always thought about that kind of thing, and I think for me that's one of the reasons I never took off in Zoo. I can fake a backstage in a theme park way better than I can fake the backstage of a zoo. And as someone who really likes to do those things, that was a really hard pill to swallow, that I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah. And I think the thing with Zoo especially is like it's 80% backstage,
You got to know how zoos work if you want to get that same feel that like we were doing with Planet Coaster.
But here we go. After that very leisurely stroll, because it's either this speed or the Flash. We are at the area that I've been working on, which is as you say, Boulder Lake. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't remember what I named it. Sure.
I think it's Boulder Lake, which is our sort of it's our North American area, as opposed to perhaps more southern. I want to say southern North America for the sort of the Shanty Bayou type area we did. We never really had like a proper South America.
We'll call that Deep South. Deep South, we'll say.
Deep South, Deep South
backwaters.
Whereas this was our North American. You can see, I think the biggest change you notice is the tree line.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, actually, all of this, the fencing. There's a whole sign over there.
I built a big concrete pad for this ride to sit on, and it was huge and it was ridiculous, but I liked the idea of it. But you're right, it was very Busch Gardens and a little less Disney and a little Universal. And when I came back in to look at it, I was like, oh, that's really just such a big lump of concrete, and that just wouldn't happen. I didn't want to just tear it out and have this be like a terrain focused coaster, because Tamar is very terrainy. And so I really wanted this to look a little bit more sort of like plonked down, so to speak. So I've kept it as a sort of structure that the ride enters and leaves again, but I've tied a bit of a narrative to it. So rather than a big concrete thing now, and you'll also notice that I'm obsessed with pebbles now. So
Jonty's found the pebbles in the TMTK.
Yeah, I found the
They're
pebbles.
so good. And Small Park today, Ruby was like, "I'm gonna put pebbles down."
And I feel so sorry for. I can't remember the person who actually made them, but like in Ruby, she was like, "Oh, Jonty's found these pebbles."
They're great.
I feel like such a cheat, because they're nothing to do with me. I saw them on the chat video, but yeah, they're perfect. They're great for that kind of thing, which is just sort of like throwing down on the base of a janky coaster. But here, I've actually tried to make them more of a premium thing, more of like a resorty kind of thing. And turn it into a pebble garden.
Absolutely. So, I used them in Brazos Square as a desert mulch for planters.
Yes.
Exactly. So yeah, it's awesome. Ursa.
So that's what we're looking at here.
Bear.
Ursa
Bear
Fevea.
what? Ursa's bear.
Pit.
Bear pit. Oh.
So, so I've come up with the reason for this huge concrete block now. Because we moved away a little bit from animals with Zoo being coming out, there was still so much point. I'm going to say that the place moved away from animals, and this was originally a bear pit. This was a bear enclosure that was into the ground like they always used to make in the 70s and 80s. And once the bear passed away or moved along or what have you, they filled it all in and they stuck a coaster here. So this is a memorial for the bear pits, basically. And we've turned it into it's a closed off area. So I was thinking this wouldn't just be open to general public, but this might be the sort of thing that, like, you know, like a lot of places have like a hospitality area or a hospitality suite.
It's a to rent space.
Yeah, maybe so I might even look at putting like a little pavilion at the back here, which I haven't done just yet. But yes, now we have a little sort of walk through some. This is awesome. This is like, I asked about Imbronation for suggestions here. This is like an earpiece.
That's why you asked about it. Oh yeah, it's the temple ears. Oh.
Temple ears, they're perfect for this. And then Mineral knocked this up for me. All the plants are lorem ipsums. But I really wanted just like a little, a little thing that looked like naming the plants. So,
that's so good.
So thank you to Mineral who knocked that up and threw it onto the Theme Maker's Toolkit.
He's on a roll with that stuff, man.
Oh, he's smashing it, eh?
Absolutely.
Just absolutely killing
this
it.
This is awesome. There are
just a very cute little,
you never mind. You've already found it. I see the fountain.
What's that?
There are TMTK bears on the workshop.
So, yes, I don't know whether this is the best one of them. I apologize for whoever's made this, but this one was recolorable, so I kind of tried to make it look like a gold statue. I don't know. I might go and have another look.
Okay.
I don't know. My color blindness and the limitation of TMTK might have messed that up, but yes, I found that. But here, the supports now, they have a bit of extra coverage around them, and they have the spikes that don't climb spikes on the base of them now.
That's interesting.
So just I saw that on some reference images. If a support is just like
too
actual
enticing.
touchable, I guess they can have these, and it sort of stops people growing up. So we have this nice little walk through here now, and then it leads us. So we've got some sprinklers in here because obviously it was to be very dry, and it leads us up to. We'll rush through a little fountain to sort of, as a memorial for the little bear.
I like it. No, I like that it's clearly not like, because when we were doing this, we had whatever TMTK animals. So if it looked too much like a real animal, you'd be like, wait, what? Yeah. Considering all of those. No, I like it.
The coaster, it's actually been pulled down a little bit. This coaster itself wasn't high. It was measured and is the correct height for a dive coaster. But I think just because it was so out in the open, it just looked a little too big.
Did you build this when Yukon Striker was all the rage?
Yes, this is very much based on Yukon Striker, as is the theming for the station, which we'll see in a minute as well.
Okay.
This was when Yukon Striker was big. But I think, it just looked a little bare. So it's been brought down about 20 feet or so. But honestly, the main reason I did that is because the station was so high up before. And now it isn't.
But I tell you what,
this all needs a bit of filling in. But
with the tree line.
The tree line makes a huge difference.
1,000%. Just so much better. So much better.
And not only at the back, I've actually added a little bit more to the path.
I was going to
ask.
So
it kind of frames it,
That's great. And we can doll up the rest of those triangles into something pretty.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, they've actually moved over a little somehow. But yeah, a lot of all this little stuff still needs to be curbed in. That's that's all to come still. But and as does this as well. All needs to be finished off. We've got the don't die fence in here, but other than that, it still needs a bit of capping off.
Very, very cool.
And then we come up to... So this will eventually be a boxed-in cattle pen queue. This is all still open at the moment. Didn't quite get to hiss. But then we come up to
God, it was
the Boulder Lake entrance.
Ago. Oh my God,
it's crazy, eh? Yeah. So did you do this like quite soon after I handed it back?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
These are the last things I did in the file. I did the ride photo booth, and then that I finished Tama and started working on the area with the dive coaster. That was my last episode, I think.
Yeah. So we had that's the exit for tomorrow.
That's the Kama exit, correct.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so I asked you if you'd mind me changing the coffee shop a little bit. I just rebranded it. It's no longer Street Fox Coffee. It's now Tim Hortons.
That's great.
Because I kind of wanted to lean into the Great North
Sure.
type thing, you know,
Yes.
the true North.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a bit of a Canadian vibe now, seeing as it's where I now live.
Had my first Timmy's this summer, just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, so you were just there,
I
right?
was.
And was it incredibly whelming?
Yeah, it was I was very whelmed. I was spectacularly whelmed with the coffee. It was fine.
It's very much fine.
It is
fine. The thing that I think is funny about this is most of this area is based on the area around Yukon Striker at Canada's Wonderland, which is my local park. And I used the reference images that the guy who lives in Texas sent me.
That's right, because I had just gone to the park and I was like, hey, here's some cool things that might work. When you said you wanted to work on this, I was like, hey, I snapped these pictures. This seems to fit your theme. So yeah, that's hilarious. So yeah, you're using my pictures of your home park, which is a beautiful park, by the way.
It is, yeah. It's got a lot of the rides selection is. Yes, it's very safe.
Top heavy, but the park itself is beautiful.
Yeah, there's some really nice areas. And so, we have this coffee store here that's now at Tim Hortons. I just wanted to make a goofy sign. I thought that'd be fun.
I love it.
And then over here, I've used the in-game one. It's actually a Bon Jour Frites. Because I thought, again, it kind of fits, right?
Oh, there you go.
It sells poutine, though.
Yes, it does. I had an amazing shawarma poutine in Canada, which are two words I didn't think would go together, but apparently that's very Canadian.
Yeah, it is. It is. There's a chain, at least around here, called Shelby's that do a really great shawarma poutine. Yeah, and I get that every couple of weeks. I'll get one of those. So this is verbatim. Oh, I haven't finished. I need to put some wood there. Oh, I know what I did. Actually, I wanted this sort of big peak that the building you sent me has. But with the in-game pieces, it was a bit too big, so I actually was going to drop this down and custom wall the stalls here, because if you just use the 4 meter one, it adds like another 2 meters onto this, and it was just a bit too much. Like, it's meant to be like a statement piece, kind of, it's meant to be a crazy tall thing, but so I took those walls off and I forgot to do it. And there's also a little bell tower on the top of here that I didn't get around to doing either, that I would like to. But yeah, this is very, very heavily based on one you sent. Oh man, this is really sloppy. Sorry, I've moved a lot of this around. These need to get pulled out.
You're well on your way.
There we go.
Oh, now it's good.
That's where. There we go. Now it's not.
I had the same problem.
There's the thumbnail.
There. I had the same issue. I was building the building, and because of like the subtle offsets, I had to have 7 or 8 actual structures. So I moved the one I was working on, and then I forgot to move all the others. I'm like, why does this look like garbage? And it took me a minute. But no, that's
why.
The vibe is so on point, though.
I just wanted that sort of northern. And I'd be honest with you, it's tricky to kind of make this look higher budget, this kind of style. I tried my hardest with the lamps and with just like a little bit of extra beaming and stuff, but yeah, like this kind of sort of,
I
North
think it's
American...
that Busch wheelhouse. I think it's the Busch Gardens SeaWorld wheelhouse. I think that's where we sit comfortably. Higher than a Six Flags, higher than a Six Flags or a Cedar Fair, but not quite Disney.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's where we kind of settle. So here's that. So yeah, I'll finish off this the wall there, and we'll put the little roof on there, and then we have a little sort of trellis area. This is very loosely based on the House of Blues at Disney Springs. They have like a little area with a lot of stone and wood, and it's track view patio dining. Because you can't, there's no way you're going to not see Tamar here.
Yeah.
So just draw attention and make it a feature.
There you go.
I can see the brake run of this ride. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's nice. Isn't that a nice thing?
Yeah, it's amazing.
So, yeah, track view. It looks really good at night as well. It's lit up really good.
Awesome.
Haven't done anything here.
Sure.
You threw this down.
Yep. It doesn't need to stay. It could be something else.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, a flat there is good. Kind of boxes the area off a little, I think.
Doesn't need to be that one in particular, but yeah.
Didn't particularly think about wanting to do.
Cool.
And again, here currently we just have a nice big open. The other building you sent me, the reference image I think could go here and maybe be like a toilet block. We haven't got any toilets over here,
good point.
We could do with the restrooms here. So I was thinking maybe that could go there, but kind of just ran out of time and a little bit of steam, you know, like this has had like 30 hours out of me the last week or two. So
wow. Okay.
So so we still have the troika here, which I like. Again, kind of finished off this side of it, but the here is the next sort of, you know, the next project basically. And then we have the dive coaster here, and then this is the main chunk of work, which is the station.
Oh wow! That is a vast improvement from what was there.
Oh
before.
Yeah. So
not to like put too fine a point on it.
No, I mean, so
really
what was there before was a placeholder, but it was I kind of boxed in the station, and so it was just a huge wooden box, but it was huge. So we took it down, like I say, a good 20 feet. And then, like I say, with the path built up to it and with the tree lines building up to it either way, I think it looks a lot more grounded. Like, it is still 100%. Quite grandiose, but it now sits around the same height as Tamar's station, which we can just see peeking there, look, in between the tree lines there.
Look at that.
Cool. So it sits around the same height as that now, as does the ride itself sits around the same height as Tamar's highest point over there, so...
Well, if I remember, I mean, Yukon Striker's station's pretty tall, or am I?
Yeah, it is.
And Valraven's is. I mean, they're tall.
I think there's something about dive coasters. They love to have this little droppy swoop into the lift hill at the beginning, and because of that, the station needs to be higher up because you've got to be able to get that in. So. So yeah, there it is. We have.
I love this.
It's very, like I say, very much based on the Yukon Striker one. I'll put a picture of that up so you can see. But like even down to that, like their one has a sign that says Gold Dust Button sold, so we put that in there as well. But like I said, the queue itself isn't really done. It's just this front area, and then I've tried to carry on the foliage choices down and through a little bit from the garden, so it all kind of ties in, even though that after the drop isn't really considered part of the theming of the area, you know. But so we bring a little bit of that over here, and then it carries on over there into the bed by the troika as well. So and I love these sprinklers. Like a lot of the effects in the game are a little too intense, but these are just right. I feel these little sprinkler pieces. Yeah,
they're great. I like that a lot. It just, man, this is really much more put together. Like it's just. Brazos Mining Co.
Yeah, I don't know. I needed a word, and I'd been watching Brazos, and I was like, "Yeah, we'll throw it in." I know Brazos isn't a mining thing, but it sounded right. Yeah,
it's a river that floods.
It sounded right. So yeah, and then we put that in, and awesome. It kind of gets about here, and that's where it starts to slip away. There's a bit of don't die covering, but our original plan was to use water effects to have this, but
it's not zoo.
The blue thing sticks out the bottom.
Yeah,
you know, the big you can't do it.
The water effects aren't as good as zoos. They're not as good.
So this will be a dry run, but again, this is a Yukon. It's very much a Yukon Striker build, really. Yeah. Yukon Striker has one of these that has a little water running down into a vat, so. The idea is there, and it just helps the line, you know, the eye line move up from the rock bed there up to and then to the larger coaster.
So did you find the same thing I did, that after putting a project away for a while and then coming back to it, how much you've grown as a builder, like as you were doing this kind of stuff, like in Conifer, the western area, now this spooky area, compared to what I was doing the last time I was in Conifer? It's like night and day, and that's what I've noticed for myself, at least after years.
I think so, but I mean, but also I've been away from it quite a bit longer than you, because you got to think after this, you know, we both hit zoo for a bit, and then I kind of moved on to other stuff. But since then, you did Summerdale. You did Brazos.
Yeah, but you know, I looked it up. The last episode of Brazos was over a year ago already.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I'm just, this has such a more clear vision now with what you've added.
The compass. I forgot.
Oh yes, show this off. Look at how swank this is.
Yeah, this was a day. To be fair, and
more power to you. I mean, the stuff in the path. I've never ever done that.
It looks great though, and I think
yes.
it's a great way of breaking up a big path, and it's a great way of being like, hey, look, they've spent more money on this than than the budget place, because it is.
Yeah.
This would be so expensive to do.
Now show it at night.
All right.
You showed me this. I was like, oh, that's so cool. Now I have a question for you, and I'm going to be a total butthead.
Yeah.
Is that in-game north?
Is there an in-game north?
I think so, because if you put the sun up at 8 a.m., that would be east, wherever the sun is.
Let's see how close I was there.
Sorry if it's totally wrong.
Let's have a look. 8 a.m. The
That's
sun
east.
is coming up over
No,
there.
you're out.
So
It's
this
out.
is south. Could not be further wrong.
We just make that an S and you're set.
Yeah, this is
No,
the southern
sorry. That's
Canada.
great. I love it. I get it. Yukon, Canada, north.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going for. We'll lean into that and not have it just as Western, or frontier. Actually lean more into the northern vibe. Yeah, so I've done a little bit of planting, lighting.
Oh, look at that!
Obviously, that's just lit because there's lanterns there. But so a little bit of planting, lighting, and just uplighters around here. And obviously, this looks quite nice lit up at night as well with the things there.
I don't think I've done any lighting in this park. That's the last thing.
It's definitely something that's going to need a pass.
Oh,
It's definitely something that needs a little bit on the ride here. But honestly, just having these thrown down and pointed up, that to me just says money. You know what I mean? That is not the sort of thing a budget park would do.
If you can have uplighting on your trees, for sure.
It
Absolutely.
just instantly increases the
dollar signs.
the budget there. Yeah,
absolutely.
So,
I love the
definitely.
hanging lights. That's so good.
Oh, look, they're using the thing.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
never seen them do that. I just threw that down to test it. They actually come and see the ride. Oh my god! I've never seen them do that before. They don't quite brave enough to go to the splash zone, but there we go. It's been really fun to get back in here.
I'm glad.
And again, like I said, not promising anything. It might be that the next episode is me doing a bit more here. The episode might be Mast having a play. The next episode might be in 6 years. I don't know. I just wanted to come in and...
I'll tell you what, if the next episode is in 6 years, then we know Planet Coaster 2 was a massive failure.
Yeah. Oh, God, don't. Because Kerbal and City Skylines and, don't.
I just said that today. Someone's like, I'm excited to get that. I was like, look, as long as it's not one of those... those two, I have full confidence that Frontier will make the game we want by its lifetime. From release to end of development, I'm sure they will make the great strides like they made in Planet Coaster 1.
With Cities and Kerbal, if I had a nickel for every content management system game that had a sequel that didn't live up to the previous one, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's bad that it's happened twice.
Exactly. I guess the thing is, Frontier is making this completely in-house. They're not relying on a third-party publisher, and I think that might be their saving grace, but... Not to get too deep in the weeds of that, but I do think that if this continues, it'll be another episode that you do if you are hot and ready, ready to do it. I'm going to continue with Conifer for a while.
I'm going to take a week off now. I think I need to go and do some Pinewood stuff. But it has been a nice palate cleanser because I wanted to play Planko and I'm vibing on Planko. But it was pretty much Pinewood is curbing and placing some rocks down around that rapids that I decided to do.
Yes.
So it was it was nice to come in here and just do something a little bit sort of more creative and
Well, I'll tell you, I opened up a project I made when the Adventure Pack came out, which was the swinging mine train coaster that I never finished.
Oh yeah.
Just because I was like, oh, this is adventure themed. That's fun. I'd like to do that. And then I was like, meh. And so maybe when that urge hits again, I'll ask for Uzuri instead.
Yeah, sure. It's all yours if you want it. But like I said, I'm not going to push you into anything. And what were you saying about a...
Right there, right where you're at. The dome. Right there, that big green building.
Yeah.
Making that a station for a transport ride and then having it go up. Like you could see, look, it goes in between the path and the elephant habitat. So,
oh, you mean like a chairlift?
No, a monorail or a people mover.
good luck with it, buddy.
That's why I didn't keep it in there.
So it was actually placed down at one point,
well, no,
right?
I made it all the way to the carousel, and I was like, I don't see how this continues.
Where does that would be the carousel would be the blocker. To be honest with you, outside of that, there's a relatively straight run.
It is, and then it's like, well, it's going to be along the path. Is that something we're okay with? And it'll block the sight line of the drop coaster, and is that okay? And then where's the station's going to be, and how are we going to get it back to the main station? It's going to have to go across the edge. These are all the things I was thinking of, and then I just deleted it and sent the file to you.
Yeah, I think this is the sort of park that would have known it was having one of those.
We should have done it earlier if we were going to do it, for sure. There's no way to add it and not make it look jammed in there.
So the other big elephant in the room, pardon the pun, is this was going to be a safari park. And I still think we owe it to ourselves at least to try and put the track ride in.
I think it should be.
Yeah.
I think it should be. Yes.
Yeah.
No train, but let's do the Jeep
we couldn't
safari.
get the train to work, could we? It was we got rid of that. It was
No, I'm sad that you lost all that work, but I'm also okay that you lost the train work.
down here, wasn't it? Through this, yeah.
The train through the coaster was fine. It was when it completely cut through our market area that was like, oh, that was a little hard.
It was good.
That's a tough pill to swallow.
But yes, I think we still have this. We still have this building here, which I still think is going to be the the entrance there. So we come through here.
I agree.
Yeah, queue down, and then it just.
But without a train there, it's a lot easier just to.
And we
drive
just basically do a big loop with the trucks, right? And then
Absolutely.
any animals we can find that could work in a safari, we'll throw them down and.
Because I'm sure there's so many, because we started this a few months before Zoo came out.
Yeah, right. I bet everyone's gone back and put them all into Planet Coaster for no reason. So far, we have two giraffes and an elephant. No, don't go. You're a quarter of our animals. Come back.
No. You know what? Planet Coaster has always had birds.
Yes.
Zoo peeps.
It's always had birds before and after Zoo.
Yeah, three polygon birds, but we've had them.
Yeah, check out Mass Bandit's channel. Like I say, the next one of these might not be on there, but Conifer Slopes has been on there. And if, like me, you are looking to binge some Planet Coaster stuff and you've not been around for a little while, you should definitely check out both Brazos Square, which was like a 50 by 50, like it was like a small square park, right, that you had to build into.
Yeah, 50 by 50 challenge park, where it was very much no theme to begin, but then it got very tongue-in-cheek Texas. So if you want to see gentle prodding at the state of Texas, go watch Brazos Square.
It was a lot of fun. And then Summerdale was the name of the
that was the one Redline and I did, another small park that had a whole bunch of community submissions that built the town around it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very happy I both found and have been accepted into this niche of actually giving a crap.
I'm okay with a smaller following if it means people are passionate about what I am, and that is making theme parks that look cool.
You know, I'm going to get really philosophical for a second here, but let's be honest. What we do is relatively lowest common denominator stuff, right? We're playing a video game and putting it onto YouTube, you know. But I love the fact that we're just taking a little bit more care over it and really building something that we're proud of, you know. So, and I am so proud of this, and I'm so glad I was able to come back and play with it, because if I manage to get Pinewood and this in a good enough state to say they're done before Planet Coaster 2, I'll be very happy.
Those are two very large feathers in your cap for sure. Yeah.
So thank you so much for watching us, folks. That's it. Make sure you follow us both and do all the YouTube goodness, and maybe we'll see you again in a few weeks, and maybe we'll see you in Planet Coaster 2. Who knows? Thanks for watching. Till the next one, be good.